Oh, crikey. Ah. Hey, everyone. Mr. Yunimara's here. Travis, Gustavo, Barry, Stuart. Alright. This first little bit here is just simply to kill off the time until everybody else turns up and I start proper repair. Well, this is a proper repair. I've just got to finish it. This one was a bit of corrosion in some areas and I just need to now do the most difficult part of these modern 1707s and such, which is to reassemble the damn things. Honestly, the amount of time you spend on these is ridiculous. And you gotta keep changing your drivers from T5 to T4 to T3 to... it's... okay, it doesn't seem so much when you split it out like that, but it's a fair few chops and changes. I mean, look at all the different bits and pieces you got to put back on. Dun, dun, dun. So we'll get this out of the way and then we can get on with the fun stuff. So like always, like with reality, you got to eat your vegetables first before you can get to the tasty desserts. I still haven't had a chance to put up a video that I did the other day. What happened? You saw about a week ago, I think it was, that I got in the mail. I got these new spudgers, and I was told that they were not too bad for getting batteries out. So I gave it a shot. I think it was this one that I took out, and I put it on video. And you can have a compare of that with the string method. In the end, I find that both are pretty good. It just depends on what sort of case you're dealing with. The string can be useful in situations where you just can't get an angle in for the spudger, and the spudger can be good for other scenarios. Okay, screws. Hey Ed, ITC, optimize. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it is damn annoying having to do all these. When you start getting down to this T3, T2, basically under T5, it can get quite tricky to work out whether you've actually got the right driver for the job or whether you're just smashing things around. Because sometimes you can drive the screw even when you don't have the right driver. It's not ideal, I gotta tell you. Anyway, we'll get this out of the way and we'll get to the entertaining things. Damn. What's that? Windows 10 2004. I've already converted quite a few machines over to that, just by default. What sort of quirks are they coming up with? Hey AJ. Unhatra. Okay, put you on later. Other things have to come before you. I don't know how some people managed to do it. Yeah, they just put all the screws into one pile and they somehow managed to remember it. I know Lewis does generally a pretty good job of doing that. I have no idea how he manages to remember. Right. That's right, you need T8s for these. So yeah, full scale of Torx screwdrivers required. May as well put that. I don't have to use the T8 again in a hurry. Hey Michael-chan. Ach, man, come on. Okay, these two down here, they're just for the bottom. They've got the dome tops on them. So you know that they're for these bottom locations. Certainly if you do this stuff yourself, well actually no, if you just do this sort of stuff, you really do need to factor in the extra time required to reassemble things like the 170X series. 1708's not so bad, but the 07s and 06s, definitely you need to add probably another 10, maybe 15 minutes of labor into it. Michael-chan, I am so out of practice, I don't... let's see... Nope, I am too out of practice, Michael-chan. As soon as someone tells me, I'll go, oh yeah, that's right, I remember now. Did you hear? Yeah, I saw that the XP source code was leaked. Some people are going to have a delightful time with that. I gotta wonder though, why would people post how to compile it on YouTube? It's like, it's almost... you just put something like that on... I was going to say GitHub, but then GitHub is owned now by Microsoft. There's plenty of other places to put it. I'm not sure why they would go for putting it on GitHub. YouTube. Damn brain failing on me, buddy. Ah, no, this is... this one here. How have you been? Ni Suyin Shanmei Yang. No, seriously, I am really way out of my practice lately. I don't think I've had a chance to get onto Duolingo for, well, just too long, obviously. There's been so much going on, and we've got another dozen kittens now that we're looking after. I've got a video of them, but that's a whole... I mean, admittedly, I'm not the one looking after them directly, but there's still, you know, a fair bit of knock-on effect. And then we'll probably have we've got another batch pending, so that's going to be another probably 4, maybe 5. So yeah, hard to get the sleep lately. Yeah, I was quite surprised because this batch of kittens, it was the first batch for the particular cat that we're trying to foster. It's a little bit frustrating because you sort of try so hard to avoid the scenario, but sometimes you can't get to... sometimes you just can't stop it in time and you have to deal with the inevitable litter. it's a case of time and money and priorities. Right, we do have, for the kittens, we do have an option. We send them off to this place locally called Angel Paws, and they deal with the rehoming and distribution of the kittens to new homes. But it'd be nice if we didn't even have to have that scenario. It's what we've got. What happened was, I think it was a night ago or 2 nights ago, the mother brought one of the kittens over into our yard, and I had a pretty good idea of where she was actually had the rest of them. So I went over and had a look, and sure enough there was another 5 there. And then the next morning she'd brought all 6 of them over, so we set up a kitten pen enclosure for her, so I'll give her a chance to get some rest. She's only a small cat herself, she's very young. Having 6 feeding off her, it's making her a bit of a skeleton no matter how much we feed her. So we're now supplementing, we're giving the kittens other food, so that will hopefully reduce the drainage on the mother. And then once, about 2 weeks time, they will get, damn camera, about 2 weeks time they will get weaned off and handed off to the other place. And then we'll have to get the mother neutered, desexed, and that will be the end of that. Waiting for the camera. Oh, that's right, it never comes back automatically lately in OBS. Pardon me. Seriously? Oh man, I just want to sleep so bad. Hey Max, Teresa. Hey Pianov. Just waiting for the... Oh come on. Don't do this to me, not now. Alright, I'm gonna have to restart OBS, but hopefully that should be a fairly quick process, so I'll be right back. I think we're back. Yep, we're back. Human. Hey Pedro. Yeah, I don't know what it is about OBS, but for some reason when the microscope camera drops out, even if you restart the camera, it doesn't repopulate the list of video for Linux devices properly. There's a bug in there, but I'm not searching for it. I'll leave that to some other dedicated programmer. Okay. Hey Mark, how's it going? Right, yeah. Let's get these screws into it. Hopefully this will be the end of the job. See, long ones, yeah. This one's been hanging around a little bit long. Yeah, yeah, well, Alita's pretty worn out. She's on point with the kitten situation. So basically she gets to go to sleep at around about 3:30, 4 o'clock if she's lucky. and then she's up again at about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then sort of gets a little bit more sleep, and then I wake up, and so we sort of interleave, take turns. It's not that we have to actively watch the kittens per se, it's just that because it's early days in the area that they're in, we want to keep an eye on things, make sure that there's no dramas brewing. Okay. Hey, Wayne. Oh, Wayne, I think, did you send me a bunch of sponges? This great big bag of white sponge. Or did Elaine from Seinfeld send that to me? Did you get the email? Oh, Mark, yeah, I did, and I just forgot to respond to you. Okay, restart. I'm trying to think I'm still waiting for mine to arrive. Let's see, okay, let me just shut this down. It's on 100% battery, so I'm going to make sure it comes up properly. Knew Pedro would get that one. Overload him. Alright, so that's behaving now. Good. That's good. Vegetables are done. Now we can get dessert. Right, thought it might have been you, Wayne. Thanks. Do you slice them up or anything? Because I'm presuming... Well, how do you normally use them, Wayne? Because what I tried was slicing them up and then just like dabbing on the isopropylene and flux combination, see if it could suck it up. Is that what you do, or guide me? Okay, Mark. Well, I'll have another quick check and I'll see. Okay. Okay, so they say very faint logo, so that pretty much means it probably is backlight failure. It's not a guarantee, but the melamine sponges, best cleaning for screens, body. Oh, right. Okay. Melamine sponges. This is where the chipmunks are nice. You plug them in, you can actually see if you're alive. I mean, I did hear it bong just then, so yeah, I can see the two screen boot options there. Okay, so fine, we have a bad backlight, but the question is why? What part of the circuit is dead? Is it going to be simple? Is it going to be complicated? Is it going to be obvious? Is it going to need a rebuild? Who knows? They call them magic sponge. Oh, so it is the magic sponge. Right, the 3M one. Hey, Jim. Yeah, my bad. I didn't message you. It's okay. You haven't really missed anything, Jim. In fact, you probably turned up at the right time. That's why I did the 1707 rebuild at the start, because I figured, well, give everybody, what, 15, 20 minutes to catch up? Backlight fuse, we've got someone's going for the long shot. And of course then you've got to work out why the backlight fuse blew. Oh, we got liquid damage in multiple locations. Good dust ingress too. Okay, let's disconnect the battery. We've got a 165 board. A20. There, you can see actually, Mr. Chan's right, the LCD connector's got a little burn mark on it. So this one looks like it could be a little bit of a messy one, which is great, because it means we'll have fun playing around in the muck to bring it back to life. Now the real problem's going to be is if the cable's no good, and that means we'll have to disassemble the screen, which is not really my favourite thing to do. And we've got a replacement mainboard. See that there? We've got the white sticker. Funnily enough, this one just says Apple, and then we've got FRU stamped on the board. So that means a field replacement unit. As if Apple Techs would ever actually be out in the field. Come on, that's a laugh. Oh yeah, this is going to be a cleanup operation and a half. Okay, let us hope and pray the actual screen connector's okay. Yeah, that's not good. It might be okay. I don't know. We'll have to wash it and have a look. But that's a lot of... Yeah, that's a lot of vomit. Okay, let's get the board out. Oh, P-code. I forgot to tell you that I found I had a short strip of those. They were in my MacBook parts section of all things. Still, always do more. Okay, just mark everything here. 305. Check these flexes to make sure that they haven't picked up any of that corrosion. It's fine. Yeah, hopefully it can be salvaged. So at least I can replace the flex, but yeah, I definitely prefer to salvage it because there's always the risk that you'll damage the front glass of the LCD doing the replacement. La 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 la. 305. I'm marking all of these things with the numbers simply because I had an event the other day where I misplaced a Wi-Fi module. I couldn't for the life of me work out which machine it belonged to. And it's not a problem with these until I think some Catalina installations can reject the Wi-Fi module if it doesn't match up. But I don't know if it's on the 1466s or on more advanced machines. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. Buffering. Nothing showing up here for drop frames, so try a refresh. Hey Andrew. Oh, Mr. Nash is here. Hello Tony. Hey, Keith McDermott's even here. Okay, get that off. Hello. Is that how it's meant to be, or what? All these years, okay, 2 years, I just realised now that... Is that it? Have I been putting these things on wrong the whole time? No, I haven't. Or have I? Okay, well, what's going on here is the reason why I'm a little bit confused is because I just pulled this out and it was different to what I expected. Oh, Wayne, yeah, sure, that's no problem at all. Okay, so all this time I've basically always done this. Like you have that indent there, and it goes into there, and then it sort of sits like that. But what they had is they had actually installed it in here, like so. But it actually doesn't make sense to do it that way because the little indent, yeah, this that little protrusion on the rubber, the round protrusion there, it doesn't go anywhere into the heat pipe, so obviously it must go on the bottom. But it was just interesting the way they did it then. It kind of threw me for a few seconds. Hey, Tony W. So there you go. You got an example of an Apple field replacement unit supposedly installed by Apple being done incorrectly. Who would have thought that an authorized Apple agent would do something wrong? Shock horror. News at 11. And we've got the full backlight drivers dead there. I don't even have to use the microscope and I can see that. This is a complete... This is going to keep us busy for an hour and a half. Hey, Def Pump. Ah, Wayne, okay. I'd be curious. I mean, the numbers on it are just for the heat shrink, not the... Oh, actually, the driver might be alright. It's just all the parts that have been hit with Shrek's knot. That's some serious hulking out Shrek's knot. And looks like this is going to be wanting its ultrasonic cleaner. Let's have a look if there's anything else that got taken out in the process. Hopefully the SMC is okay. Alright, so you got taken out too. Yeah, we're going to be busy with this one. See ya, Hathra. Alright. Guess we best get to it. Janitor mode today. Which is good. My brain's not up to being smart. Yeah, well, it's not the clock generator per se, this one, but it does route the clock signal. That one's for isolation. It's one of those bizarre multi-logic type chips. There is a rattle in here and I don't know where it is, and it's driving me bonkers. Yep, can't find it. So basically all of this gets removed. I don't think I'll worry about the clock chip at this point. It did actually look fairly clean, but I'll have a look from the side later. Unfortunately, there could be a few traces that are missing too, a few pads. Oh wow, you're really stuck. Don't want to force it though. There we go. Let's put the board into the vertical orientation. Apparently, according to Lewis Rossman, you never put the board in the vertical orientation according to the board view, but there you go. Clearly he's wrong. Whew. Well, looks like we're going to do some scraping there. I'm going to have to find that damn rattle. Scrape, 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 scrape. Okay, we're lucky with those first two. Looks like we're lucky with these two as well. Oh, well, we've got to troll Mr. Rossman. I mean, if you're going to be someone like Lewis and make all that sort of noise and declarations and things like that, well then you got to expect that you're going to get some trolls coming back at you. I mean, it's just inviting it. And in fact, I think he'd be disappointed if he didn't get some sort of troll response. So by extension, I'm actually being his slave and at his bidding here. Yeah, you gotta be a little bit careful using these knife blades on the pads. You can very easily have a slip, a whoopsie, and when you have your whoopsie, then you can have your little bit of a cry later. You lie down, have a Bex, and lie down afterwards. That's probably going to need to be sorted out as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the rattle is not between the ears because as soon as I turned off the fan, it stopped. So there's something in the fan assembly that's starting to get a little bit out of whack. Jim, well, I do have a slightly older audience in general here. So I figured it would work. I don't restrict my colloquialisms to modern day only. I'll drop a few for the older years. Probably A0201 components embedded in the fan blades. That's probably true. Let's see, have a look at these tweezers. That doesn't... I don't think that's them. I'll have a look. No, that's not them. If I find them, I'll let you know, but in the meantime, I've got a few spares, so... But nah, that's not them. They're just the standard, like the Vetus ones that I got. Okay, not a good idea to just try and flood the ground plane there. Okay. Damn it. At times like this I really do wish I was allowed to use hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid would make things so much easier. Short term. Long term it's a disaster, of course. Alright. Stupid using... I mean, it was already a struggle, Paul. Why'd you... Yeah, okay, we're gonna have to leave that there, let go of it. Put the higher powered tip on. That was a very stupid thing to do. Hey, Ruslan. Oh yeah, I've got the cup of tea part. Quite right you are. Alright, let's grab a hold of that again. Alrighty, where's that pad there going to? That's what I want to know. Things are starting to get angry here and they're wanting to lift off any moment. This one here is the one that's giving me the nightmare. This one here, see, it's a pad to nowhere, basically. But it does go somewhere. Somewhere. That's backlight enable. Is it? No, it's not. That's PPV and SOSW LCD backlight. Ooh, we actually don't want to lose that one. I think what the problem here at the moment is that my knife has gone blunt for the sort of work that I'm trying to do. And so it's not really scratching out that corrosion as well as it should. Hey, Palmero. Oh, bravo. Just, yeah, let's just blanket everything, Paul. Tell you, this rattle that I can hear in the fan assembly is legitimately causing me to start want to scream. I'm not kidding. It's yeah, some noises just really get to you, particularly to that because my hearing's messed up. It actually makes it sound like it's coming from over there a bit, and it's this gnawing sound. You can sort of just hear it as it finishes up, slows down there. So we can just. Give it a good smack is excellent advice in my opinion. Okay, let's turn it on now. Still in there. Stick my hand up in the fan assembly. Ah! It's still spinning. Yeah, rattle, rattle. It's enough to. Yeah, this rattles drive insane. Okay, what else could it possibly be? Wait, I just heard it. Okay. This is when you start to tear down half your car looking for the damn rattle in the middle of the Simpson Desert. Where are you, you mongrel? Yeah, I can hear it whenever. Okay, is it in the light? Hey, spider jumped out. Cool. Sorry, dude. It's the light. What the? It's a keyboard rivet stuck to the underside of my light. That's crazy. Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Spiders are awesome, especially those ones. Okay, loosen that up. Maybe I should just hot glue that somewhere. But yeah, the rattle's in here somewhere, even when it doesn't seem like it's that part. That's a higher pitch. There, it's in here. It's in the 8-ball locking mechanism. So, hot glue? If I use hot glue, it's just gonna... No, it's just not gonna work if I do that. I'm just inviting trouble by using hot glue, even though it is quite enticing. what we're gonna do is... Oh, I can't put it there. Yeah, Joseph, it can be like that. I mean, some rattles will literally rattle you. It's... and it's a problem because once your brain locks in on them, so you can't stop the brain from just locking on. It's like when someone's got a leaf blower and you just can't, the brain will not let you forget that there's a leaf blower going crazy in your neighbour's yard. I mean, partly because your neighbour's a jerk for doing it 4 times a week to chase 2 leaves across the yard. And it's like, what the hell is wrong with you, man? Yeah, I'm talking from experience. It's unstable now. Damn it. Well, we'll try that. Oh, that's really in my face, though. Suffice. You watch, it's going to rattle as soon as I start it up again. There we go. Put some grease on it. It'd be good if I knew where exactly to put the grease, but I don't. Oh, come on. Don't be a little narc. Lousy little SOB of a narc. Okay. See if it rattles now. No more rattle. There's probably a rattle there, but it's a different tune now, so I can ignore it at least. The only trouble is I've lost a lot of my light, so anyway. Alrighty, so we need to transplant now and hope that we have success with the transplant. You mongrel! The light just fell down. I think what happens with these lights is that there's a there's like a spring coil in that double ball assembly, and it slowly works its way. It just works its way out of the whole assembly, and it no longer can lock tight. It's actually quite impressive, you know, that they design these things. I wouldn't like to have to design from scratch such a thing. Okay. Alrighty, so we've got enough bits and pieces there that we can do what we've got to do. Splotch. Local fume extractor supplier in case... Okay, let me have a look. Wayne's constantly 80 watt. It's a little on the weak side. What's the cost of filters on it though? That's always the real trick. 58 dB. $180 cubic meters an hour. That's a little lower. I would normally expect about 150, 250 cubic meters an hour. Now this one here does, well, without the filters it'll do 1,000 per hour, and then with the filters on it drops way down to about 200. The nice thing about with the way this is set up is that I don't have to have a fume hood nozzle straight over my work. It's just more like a fume hood, like if you're a chemist. But I'll have a look at it in more detail when I'm finished. Hey, Shad Cam Girl? Seriously? Sheesh. Am I hot? Ugh. People are going to say, he's mad, taking 3 parts at once. Mad! And, you know, you're probably right. Yep, I think I just used up more time. Ow! Okay. That's really not very good. 3 was a little bit too much. Scope can frozen. I do have some HDMI capture tools coming. I was looking at getting a Magewell 2 or 4 port capture card. I think that would probably boot. Okay. Okay, that's better. Certainly a 2 port would be a nice start. I should convince Lewis to give me his. But I think realistically I also need to upgrade my cameras, like the overhead, particularly the overhead camera. I think that really needs an upgrade to something that can do 60 frames per second and have a good optical zoom. That's the quick model. Okay. Yeah, we've still got to find the proper... I've seen prices for the secondary filter, but I have yet to see anyone listing the HEPA filter portion anywhere. Which, yeah, it's the 2-inch thick block. Probably 3-inch thick. So the pre-filters are dead easy, they're just that simple filter medium. But yeah, getting that HEPA filter, that's the trick. I really should take that off and have a look at the pad. Hey Corey. Yeah, that resistor actually looks a little bit dodgy, so I'll take that off too. It just had like a little bit of a crustiness on it. No, I wasn't in the mood to trust it. Unfortunately, the damaged, corroded area is just, by the looks of it, the ground pad, which is good. Clean up. Put a replacement on. Is the camera frozen again? No. Say, Duff Pump, thanks for dropping in, I appreciate it. Always. I don't know if I had too much coffee or not enough coffee today. Hey, Steve K. No such thing as too much coffee. Where you going for the Futurama Fry 100 coffees enlightenment phase, are you? That looks tolerable for now. Move on to the next section, which is this bit here, which is really messed up. It's interesting that I always tend to bias the microscope view a little bit too high. So whatever I'm working on that I feel is actually naturally my preferred vision point, when I look over to the camera I can see that it's the parts or whatever are sitting too high in the field, the viewfinder. Anyway. Oh, looks like I've picked up the other tweezers now. Okay. I don't know what my hands do sometimes. Yeah, that is ugly. Ugly. I'm definitely going to get my money's worth out of this one. Alright. See all this dark area? That's going to have to get chipped away. You'll find under that, there, see it just comes right off? So just scratch all that off. Ah, good. Looks like Pedro's on the ball with the filters. If you don't scratch away that dark rotten area, it will have a tendency to keep creeping across the board. I mean, it won't get that much further, but it will still be actively corroding, so you really don't want that. So this is your opportunity to do things right. And sometimes it can be quite extensive. MacBook Lotto scratch card. It's a good one to see him, Cooper. At least it's not scratch and sniff. Ah, I've got to change iron tip again. I am genuinely looking for another Hacko 951 assembly. That or I'll get a 203. But I just really shouldn't be spending the money right now. It's one of those cases where you know it will make your life a little bit easier, but at the same time you know you're not supposed to be spending that kind of... You can't really afford that sort of capital outlay at this point. So every week you go to your shopping cart and you put it in there and you go, maybe I'll get it this week, and then you're like, nope, nope, nope. Do not buy the things you don't absolutely have to buy right now. Well, I'm going to stick with the Hacko because I already have Hacko, which means I can interchange the existing tips and iron handles that I have. There's no point changing for me. Certainly no compelling reason either. Just certainly in jobs like this, you frequently want to switch between the micro pencil and something bigger like the 1.2 chisel or the 1mm chisel. Maybe new tax write-offs. Yeah, I'm only going to get about $1,000 out of that. I mean, yeah, that can give me a 203, but I've got other things I could spend that on. Like a house, home loan. And we won't even get it until next year, probably. That is the write-off. Barry West, extractor wish list. Extractor wish list. Okay, so that trace is well and truly gone. Is that a veer down there? Please don't be a veer. Yeah, I think you're a veer. Wow, annoying much? Yeah, that's a veer right there. That's annoying. It's got the rest of this dodgy... It's going to be a lot of green green UV coating going on in this one when we're finished. You gotta do the job properly. Did you see? Yes, I did, Paul. I saw it, I think it was yesterday, last night, or I was about 30 minutes behind the live process, which was kind of good because that meant I could just jump straight to the nice fun bits, which is like the landing and whatnot. I'm very curious to see how... the big thing I'm waiting for is the SN8 20 kilometer or 15 kilometer drop. That's going to be quite an experience to see that. Trying to be real careful with that pad. I wanted to come up there. See, it's still got too much corrosion on it. So like I want to get the corrosion off, but I also don't want to lift the pad off. So there is a reasonable amount of good pad showing, but I really would rather it be all good pad. But that corrosion's pretty deep. See how it's not changing? It's staying that dark silver colour. Do you need planning permission to extend your property? Let's see. It depends what we're doing. Some things you need permission, some things you don't. Some things as long as you stay within the guidelines, they're okay with it. Yeah, stuff like if you're going to do a pergola, so long as it has less than 20 square meter roof area and it's solid and things like that. Yeah, just stuff like that. Hey, user. Joseph, I don't think I'll be worried about capital gains for quite a while, to be honest. I mean, we're looking at probably 10 years at best before I even consider that situation. Usually what happens where you get done over is if you buy the place and then you exit out of it pretty quickly. And then the tax department's like, hey, you're not allowed to do that. Well, obviously you're allowed to do it, but they say, hey, we want a portion of that. Okay, that neck there is a little bit too narrow, so we'll have to wire that up, and likewise that one there for sure. Someone talking about back operations. You see L2, L3, 4. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about back operations, aren't you? They're disk numbers. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling I'm right. Laminectomy. Never heard of it, but can only be painful. Alright, let's get some wire going on here. We're going to use the equivalent of some Outback Mining rebar. Looks about right to me. Probably double this up. Hey Maven. What? Oh, you mongrel. And that was so beautiful. And now it's not. I'm a little bit surprised that jumped off that quickly. Change the angle around. Well, it was a very nice... Oh no, what's happened here? Maybe that wasn't a veer after all. Okay, time to check the board view. Clearly I misjudged what was going on in there. I really thought that was a veer. This is upside down relative to how I'm looking at it. Okay, so that's pin 1. 3v3S5. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll check here and see if that's connected to anything up here. And if it is, then we're okay. It wasn't a veer. It doesn't look like it was a veer because there's no hole there or anything like that. Just that last little stump of copper that was there, it genuinely felt quite sturdy. Clearly I was wrong. Okay, so we'll just test from there. And what are we looking for? That there's U2701. Okay, so we're lucky. The veer for that must be coming in under the cap itself. So yeah, whatever it is, it's coming in under this cap pad. So we're lucky, very lucky this time. So we can still proceed to stick down our demented piece of wire. It's taken a little bit too long in my opinion so far. I think we can... It's definitely not pretty, but it does give us a pretty good purchase there on the pad. Now the next one we've got to do is this one here, and what will... Yeah... Is there supposed to be a part there? That one there gives me concern. I'm imagining the veer itself is actually that little bump that you can see there. That'll be the veer. So I might scratch back the whole trace. Yeah, that's the veer. Wow, that... my eyeballs... The human eyes are so much better at dynamic range than even the best of cameras most times. I have deliberately made that long because I want to hook it around. Like so. Maybe not quite like that, like an idiot. And this will be the point where it decides to break off from fatigue. And I'll have to do it all over again. Not very pretty. Oh, shoot. Well, I nearly ripped that completely up. Now I've got a whole bunch of fibers I'm going to have to deal with. That wasn't very smart. Alright, let's get our part from the donor board, swap it over. That looks so much prettier. It's interesting, it looks like I have lost one. This part here doesn't seem to be present on the other board. Not sure if I knocked it off or what, but we'll have to... Pretty sure I'll need that. Come on. The part we're meddling around with is U3540. U3540. If you dim the light, the job will look much better. Yeah, but then I can't see. Yeah. I'm not even on maximum though. Oh, I actually just realised now what you were saying. If I dim the light, people won't see how bad it is. I'm a little slow tonight, I'm sorry. My camera mount is listed in my tools page. It's a 0.3 multiplication reducer. You pretty much need to have it. You can put these on without the reducer, but you don't get much of a crud. You don't get much of a good image ratio. Instead, what you usually see is just a whole bunch of black tube. Okay, that's offset unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to just wait for it to warm up and then I can nudge it back across like that. I think we're good. To clean my knife. And of course we need to put that part back that wasn't here. I should double check that though. Let's see, what are you? Why are you doing this to me, mouse? Okay, it's a 0 ohm. So between there and there is just a 0 ohm. So yeah, I could, if you had to, you could always bridge that just with a blumper solder, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do it properly. Hi Taro from Finland, how are you? Oh, finally also my supply of flux from Rossmann, not Rossmann, from Amtech, finally arrived in Perth. It's only been like a month since I ordered that, and that was express. It sat in Miami for the whole time. It was ridiculous. I gotta admit, I'm really not liking this wire here, but I mean, honestly, what am I going to do about it? It's like I can't really do anything about that. Nuts and proud. How's it going from France? A1466. So that one's fixed. Backlight's fixed. And now we've still got to do the front side. Sat in Miami because of Trump mail scam. Really? I don't know. Probably not. Okay, so that needs to be replaced. Oh, they may be okay. Those are all the feedback traces. Fuse. Yeah. We may still actually have a trace violation where it breaks between here and the chip. Let's see if the fuse is blown. Perth to here will probably be about a week. Fuse is okay. So I'd expect this time next week I should finally have my flux, which is good because I'm kind of running out on this already. And it's my last one. Ordered half mil solder balls from AliExpress back in June. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. It is really not... Yeah, when customers want stuff in a hurry, unless you've got it on hand, it's going to be a sad story. Right, I need my handy weight. Where is my workshop standard weight system? I used it yesterday. Ah, there it is. One standard workshop weight. Good old 12 volt, 7.2 amp battery. And we use that so that we can heat up this and lift it without the whole circuit board lifting at the same time. Use a, I wouldn't call it typical ingress, but yeah, I mean it's certainly something. It doesn't look like it was just water. There's definitely some other element in this. Could have been milkshake. Looks like those resistors are okay. Yeah, fourth pin's missing. That's okay. Those things are comparatively easy to resolve. Famous words, I know. It actually just looks like it's corroded more than no solder. Yeah, I think it's just corroded. use a Besser block. That's for the extreme level, isn't it? Yeah, that pad's still there. It's just got a bit of that nasty grey corrosion. Yeah, I'm not sure why I have such a problem with the US mail. Bad luck, I guess. Some things arrive reasonably okay, but most things just seem to flounder. Yeah, it's a bit better. Don't get stuck on there, you mongrel. As a general warning, don't use micro pencils with wick. Only idiots do that. Okay, let's get ourselves another connector. And naturally, of course, I don't have the ones with the keying pins in it. And most of the time when you look on AliExpress or eBay or whatever, even if they show you that the connector has the keying pins on it, 80% of the time when you get them, they don't have the keying pins. So the problem is that the people selling you this stuff don't actually understand that there is a difference between the two. Short wick between the tweezers, yeah, that can work. See, there's no round pin that's going to sit in these holes. It's frustrating, but it's pretty common, unfortunately. By the way, if you've never done a connector like this before and you're thinking you're going to have to at some point, it's not really as bad as it seems. They're fairly easy connectors to work with, but it would be nicer if they had the key in them. Hey Trevor, hey Greg. Yeah, Greg, that's right, yeah, they use the one, you never know what you're going to get. Okay, so I'm going to cheat a little bit here and just tack down that pin, tack down that pin. That's fine. Okay, I just wanted to do it a bit slowly then so that I wouldn't make the damn thing drift everywhere. So now that we've got those ones, we can actually just go along and solder ball it like this. I don't care if professionals say, you're not supposed to do it that way. It's like, eh. What do you think wave soldering is? And then we'll clean up the ugly dag stuff like that. See where it doesn't have enough heat to be able to make it flow cleanly. We clean that up by just using a bit of supportive heat or assistive heat. Later on, we'll just get those pins down. And again, like that you sort of think, that's ugly as sin. And it is ugly as sin, but then you fix it up later. This is just like the first application of glue, and then you clean up. Now, if you don't clean that up, then yes, you will be unprofessional. And yes, the elders of the MacBook internet repair will come after you. Okay, put judicious amounts of flux. Maybe not quite a Pico Rossmann though. I mean, that guy's just insane when it comes to using flux. I'm sure he's got shares in it. I'm actually just going to switch this down to 250. Okay, so we're only at 250 air. But it just gives you that chance to... And I've actually got the wrong soldering iron for this, I realise. Yeah, I've still got the wrong... I really need the chisel tip one. Anyway, this might work. Yeah, it's doing alright. Starting to see a slight haze. Yeah, it could be. There'll be the glorious flux fumes getting on the Barlow. I'm actually seeing the haze myself, yeah. Ah, that's sweet. That's nice. Trying to decide if that cap really needs... I think that cap should probably go. If you look at the... rub my eye. Oh, man. Oh. Reminds me of when I used to ride on the motorbike, and if you'd be riding all day and you'd be fine and the sun would be setting or something like that. There could be multiple causes, but you'd get something that would trigger you, and your eye, you'd just develop one little like tear in your eye or something like that, and then it's a cascade of hell after that, because what happens is that little one tear in the eye pulls in the salt that's all dried up around here, and it draws it into your eye, which of course then your eye goes, oh, we've got salt, let's add more water, and so it just keeps building up, and it just like sucks this great big deposit of salt from your day of sweating in the helmet straight back into your eye. And usually it's when you're on the highway doing 100, 120 kilometers an hour, and you've got traffic everywhere, and there's no area to pull off onto the side, and you're going blind and you're crying, and that's great, it's fun stuff. Clearly I didn't die because I'm still here, but yeah, it's not a recommended experience. Fluxman, that is a terrible, terrible idea. And my nemesis would be Metho Man. Oh yes. It's worse when your tears freeze on a motorway. I've never had that, so yeah. cutting chilies and then wiping your eyes because you... Oh, yeah. Or leaving chili juice on your fingers and then touching things you shouldn't. Reminds me of Futurama and Fry trying out Bender's nice Swiss robot food. IPA man, IP man, yeah, IPA man. Well, in that case, I'm doomed. Alright, so I think, yeah, we'll get rid of that cap. It is looking a bit shonky. Greg, is that a new video or is it just the old one rehashed? Because I remember the old one. And I thought Lewis had just simply posted again for posterity's sake or something. Or is it a brand new one? I haven't looked at it because I remember the old Drive Savers one. And I thought, okay. I didn't bother to look at the new one. It was live yesterday. Yeah, I'm saying shonky because of that very dark colouring on there, and the fact that there's a lot of corrosion and junk around the base of the pad. So as far as for all I know, the pad itself could be a little bit bad. I had to cover it up because the plastic on that connector could be bad. I should have changed the cap before I changed the connector. Yep. Yeah, so there's a bit of damage on that pad. Also bottom right cap. Bottom right cap? Oh, you mean this one? Yeah, you're right. Certainly seen prettier days. Yeah, you're gonna be tricky to get off. What happened to all the money I brought in the other day? Probably had leprechauns in here stealing my money. Yeah, the noise you can hear is the fume extractor. It's an... Phew, phew, what the... Phew. Oof. Something was on that... Something was on... A coating or something was on that thingamajig that I had holding down the shield. And when it started getting hot, it smelt really bad, like toxic bad. The sort of toxic bad that you just feel like, oh great, you know, I'm gonna have to spend 3 days out in fresh air just to clear my lungs back. At least it doesn't look too bad. It's not the prettiest up here, but ultrasonic and everything else will clear that up. At times I want to get myself one of those 3M hoods. Alex Steele has them for his grinding room. Ah, shoot. Well, that's over in that case. Looks like I've got 2 parts to replace. 3M VersaFlow, that's it, yeah. They look like they're quite handy to have. They're only about $1,600, which is pretty cheap compared to the medical alternative. That is dealing with lung disease. Or whatever else comes your way. Alright, so 2 parts we have to move from there. 3 actually, because we've got to move that cap as well. Oh, this stuff's also pretty. What happened to you? Oh, yeah, that's what happened to you, eh? You're a PCH dead machine. Well, so are we going to pick your corpse and put you elsewhere? A hood with positive pressure is a must. Do you mean positive or negative? And I guess it's relative, but I would have thought negative pressure as in so it draws in air from the outside behind you so that the fumes from here never get out. I guess it's really relative though, because it depends where you're taking your reference from. Shout out to Lewis. Why do we have to have a shout out to Lewis? He's never here. Anytime Lewis is here, it's fake. I probably have... There's probably... I was gonna say... My gender distribution here is probably more truthful than Lewis ever turning up here. Anyway, so this is why also you do not give people a cheap job just because they say it's backlight only, because this job is taking substantially longer than what you'd consider a normal backlight job, and in fact longer than quite a few of my normal jobs. So yeah, when people come to you and say, well, it's only a backlight, because they've watched some YouTube videos or something, they think, hey, all they have to do is run a trace or change the LP8550, and this is why you do not go with that, because you'll end up being cranky, just like I am if I don't cover that plastic. Lackey Burkett, get on the Rossman Discord. It's free, it's there, and that's what it's for. I can't really do any diagnosis while I'm repairing because I'm thinking about my own job here. But yeah, if you get on the Rossman Discord in the Mac channel, and you get excellent brains in there like Pionov and I don't know, there's other people I'm sure. That's your best bet for getting a good diagnosis. You're an Aussie. Whereabouts in Australia are you? Andrew, yes, this job is a pain in the backlight. Very well, good wordplay there. You get 2 extra internet points for that. Okay, so we're going through and checking each pin. What's got me concerned here is that you see there's no filleting going on. So you got a proper fillet on this one, but these ones are not filleting. So I think we'll have to go over them again. I mean, it's not absolutely paramount, but it just does give you that little bit more of assurance. Lackey, it really depends. The more people send me, the more I do these. So that feels more filleted now. You gotta be careful though when you're doing this. You can easily snag one of the legs. And when you snag one of the legs and you rip it out sideways, and there's a lot of screaming by me. So now they're all looking much more professional, as it were. It can be anything from 1 to 4 a week. A lot depends on what jobs get sent to me. Now we've still got no proof that this is actually going to even work, because again the backlight trace could actually be dead for all we know. But we are going to have to clean out the flux from in here, because otherwise when we do plug in the test cable it's just going to gum up. Bum, 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 bum. Oops. It's actually more like about 90% male in here. The iPhones are a higher percentage of locals, but for the MacBooks, they're about 90% male in. Oop. Well, that was a squirter. Goodness knows where that one went. Obviously the ultrasonic cleans this out, but for the purpose of testing, I do want to get it as clean as reasonably possible. What are we doing for time? 11, 12, quarter past 11, so by the time we finish this it will be time for me to head on up. And then this can just wait till tomorrow before it gets the proper ultrasonic treatment. It's a flippin' mess with all the flux. Should probably not scrub this down because we do have those traces that we've run, and I don't want to accidentally, just by bad luck, catch one of those traces on the toothbrush or something like that and rip it out. So since it's going into my own test chassis, it's not going to matter so much. Just realised we've still got to clean up the connector on their screen, because for all we know that could be damaged and it's going to need replacing as well. Okay, not going to bother with the fan. Well, we will put our chipmunk in, put our test in. Power on. Okay, power's good. Okay, we've got SO state to drawing 600, so it's about right for these machines. Okay, we've got a bong. The screen is energized. When I say energized, I mean it goes black. It goes from that like dark olive green to black. And I think I shouldn't have let go of the option button, but well, we'll find out now. It's just going to take a little longer. Thank you, Andrew. You're always fast on that. Most of my walk-in type jobs are, like I said, iPhone screen repairs, and okay, we've got a blinking folder, so we're fixed. We're good. I do wish though that I want to verify that it does get that drive. I should have picked up that drive. Yeah, there we go. So that's good. I will check that screen cable just now. Hopefully it's just it probably will be pitted, but hopefully it's just a little bit of carbonized ash on the top and there's still enough contacts there. So long as the plastic itself that's used to separate or hold the form of the pins, as long as that's okay, then most of the time, if the pins aren't perfect, it's okay. But if the plastic has actually been eaten away and you've just got this void in there, then it's a fair bit harder. Yeah, it's all good. Yep. Shut down. Obviously the board will go through the full range of testing, because remember we did have that other part that was damaged, that U3540, which is part of the clock system. So we want to make sure that that is also able to run properly for several hours. Okay, so get this disgustingly fluxed up board out of here. That's the crossover flex. Yep. Yuck. Get this back into the test area. And right, since we're dealing with their chassis, we will lay down some paper. Actually, we'll put the mouse pad there. The reason why I do that is because I don't like, there's always occasional bits of flux and random trash on the around the area, so by using a mouse pad, it lifts it up off that, and hopefully you won't encounter any trash. AJ, yeah, I did see that with him pushing off that cap. That was kind of amusing. Seems like everybody's out to taunt Lewis at the moment. Okay, use these. Yeah, that looks good. These ultra fine cotton tip things that were sent to me by Wayne, I believe he said they're for they use them for gun cleaning, as far as I understand. Okay, so we do have corrosion in there. Now that does give me a bit of concern, so I might have to wrap this up and wash it or something. Maybe just hang it in the ultrasonic for a little while. There is some pitting on the pin at the base, but it does look like... No, that one's completely disconnected. Let's see, are they bottom-based or top-based connections? So that one there is completely worn away, the first one. The second one's still connected. We can work out if it's connected through the top or through the bottom just by doing a continuity test. If it's through the bottom, then we won't get continuity. If it's through the top, we will. The fun bit is actually holding it while we do that. And naturally I've got flux on that tip. That is not the easiest thing to hold. Okay, it looks like it's bottom based then. At least I'm pretty sure. Yeah. That's a problem. So we may have to change this flex. I mean, there's ways around it. You could just let it be and they're only going to have one pin carrying the power for the backlight. I personally wouldn't recommend that. I mean, ideally it shouldn't affect it, but realistically it probably will. Yeah, that's a problem. I can't really bodge that either. Like I can't, because the connection's on the inside of that molded plastic. Bugger. Yeah, so I might have to change the flex on this wire with the span in connect jump, but in the end the trouble is it still goes ultimately through the one trace. That's the problem. Like, even because if you say bridge this up here it's still only going to be focused down to that one connecting down there, and that's already slightly pitted as it is. So yeah, the other option I suppose is if you, it's not going to be pretty. So it's realistically I should just replace the flex, the cable. Yeah. But I will check with the person who sent it, make sure that they're content with the extra expense involved, and also let them know that there's a risk involved too, because sometimes replacing that cable can be bad. Sometimes things can go wrong, but I won't. Sorry, I dropped these things. I won't offer them the opportunity to just run it as is. At least I certainly won't recommend it, because, like I said, there is already pitting and fatigue on that remaining pin, and so it's only going to be a matter of time before you're going to get an email saying, "Oh, my screen's dead, the backlight's dead again. Is this under warranty?" And you kind of go, no, because it was already, it was a fault that was not part of what was fixed up on the board. It was not covered. So you got to try and preempt these problems in the future and just head them off now. Better to just be upfront and say, look, it's going to cost money to get that replaced. There isn't really another option. Hey Ray, unfortunately we're just disappearing now. Yeah, luckily it's only a backlight job. Hey Stockholms. Okay, well, that's it for tonight, so I am going to head off and go do some other things. Unfortunately, still no ice cream because I am on a no ice cream diet, and at close to midnight, it's also a no coffee time, so I think I'm actually probably going to suffer now. I can't even go to McDonald's because, well, they're closed in this primitive place. Not much else I can do, is there? Alright, I'm out of here. Thank you very much for watching, as always. Appreciate it, and might see you tomorrow. Might be a couple of days. Who knows? You just have to wait and see. I'll catch you later. See ya.